There you go.
Hey, welcome everyone to the Helm Dev Call for Thursday, July 11th, 2019. We're going to go ahead and get started. The normal approach to this, in case you are watching this or participating for the first time, is we have any announcements, and then the stand-ups from the core maintainers, and then anyone from the community who feels like they need to stand up on something they're working on, and then any discussion items we have, and then we finish up with any assignments that we need for the next week. So, are there any announcements? I do not see any on the agenda, but if there's any that were missed, please speak up.
Martin, is 2.14.2 out?
It is a work in progress, as in it will be done near the end of my day. I just have to nip off for a few hours and then I'll have it done. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But thanks for help on it. So Taylor and I had a few, so we probably need to do a few tweaks around the release checklist because it's a bit difficult to navigate when you don't know it for a patch release. So yeah, we might have a few things doing that. But the good news is that thanks to your input on that, Matt, it built the tag. So I'm just ready to get up the shaz and so forth. So I'll get that done. Probably
So the announcement is that 2.14.2 is coming today.
Yes. I'm not putting my whole family on that one though. But yes.
Okay.
Probably one other announcement is the notifications will go out on Monday. They were postponed for a week. We'll go out on Monday for the CFPs for the Helm Summit.
Yeah, those are just the final touches are getting put on the schedule, so those will all get sent out soon. Awesome. Thanks for the announcements. Let's go ahead and get started with stand-up. I'll go ahead and start. I've been working on a couple Helm 3 features. I finished porting over the wait flag and fixing up some of the naive behaviors that were still left there. I'm almost done with moving the atomic flag to Helm 3. Which then after that I'll have to do a follow-up on getting the cleanup on fail flag over so that everything works like it should. And then I'll be working on the three-way merge apply diff thing. We're trying to make sure we get done properly when we're updating resources. And yeah, I helped a little bit with the 2.14.2, although it was mostly Martin. And then I think that's it. So I will pass it off to Scott.
Okay, cool. Not much to report from the last week. We did have a pretty good charts chat with just a few people that came in, but otherwise I've really have nothing for this week. Martin, I guess you already started, but
yeah. Yeah. So this week I was off the previous week. So this week I've concentrated mostly on doing PR triaging and, issue triaging and doing some PR reviews and answering questions out in the workspace. So I've had to put the migration stuff into the back burner. So I'm trying to get around to that again. And we probably need a bit of help around some of the issue triaging and PR reviews. So if some people can jump on that as well, I know one or two people have been jumping on, that would be great. So I'll hand over to Matt Farina.
Not much in the last week other than merging some stuff into the Helm hub and some periodic triaging. Not a whole lot going on. And so with that, I'll hand it back to Taylor. Did we get everyone?
I think we got all the core maintainers. Is there anyone from the community? Oh, well, I guess I should also, Josh couldn't make it, but he did update. He's been working on an acceptance test suite using Kind for Helm 3. So that PR's up. I've been taking a look at that, but that's looks like it'll be pretty useful to help kind of reduce some of the overhead on reviewing PRs. So that'll be good to have.
Adam just showed up, by the way.
Oh, Adam, perfect. You came just in time. go ahead and report on out.
Hey guys, happy to see all you again. Looks like a little bit of a light crowd. I've been working on refactoring out some of the Helm path stuff that we've had some issues with in Helm 2, as well as cleaning up Helm init. I'm pretty sure we can completely remove that command, which is going to be awesome. So I'm just cleaning up and splitting up the PR a little bit. Most of the code is written. I just got to clean it up and submit it. And then I'm going to be working on catching up on some code reviews moving forward. So I think I'm assuming I'm the last person. Sorry for being late.
Bridget, did you have anything? Everyone can say hi to Bridget. She started to help as well with some of the community stuff, I think. Correct, Bridget? Question mark?
Yeah. Hi. I don't really have anything to report other than I am very excited about getting Helm talks at KubeCon. So if there's anyone who's thinking to themselves, I really want to submit a talk to KubeCon North America, but I just am not sure what to do or say, ping me and I'd be happy to help you with that. Oh, and that's due Friday.
Awesome. Thanks, Bridget. Is there anyone else from the community who'd like to give a stand up on anything they're working on?
Matt Fisher just had a few lines because he can't make it today. He's sick. So he was working on Helm Summit planning with Nancy and Reinhard and Priyanka. And also that he agrees with bumping the API version to V2.
Which is
sorry,
a perfect
Martin, what was the first one? I didn't really hear that.
He was doing, he was working on Helm Summit schedule planning. Mostly, and then the API v2, but he's been sick as well.
Luckily, that API v2 thing is a perfect segue into our next section for discussion. So the first item of discussion on the list is Helm v3 charts. And the question is if it's time to increment the chart API version to v2. I'm assuming, Farina, you put that on there?
I did, and that's because we are making changes, some of which are not backwards compatible. And so we should have a way of distinguishing this stuff. Quite frankly, if it's a change that can't run in Helm v2, then it shouldn't be a v1 chart anymore.
Yep, I totally agree. The only reason why I haven't is changes so far are backwards compatible, except for a few random things that were broken anyway. So that's the only reason why I haven't yet. I fully intended on bumping it.
Well, a chart created with Helm v3 won't work in Helm v2. For example, your dependencies are in the chart.yaml file, right? So if I take that chart that's a v1 chart and go run it in Helm v2, it won't know where to get the requirements, right?
No, I coded in a something to handle the v1 charts as well.
Into Helm v2?
Helm v3.
No, I'm saying if you create a chart in Helm v3 that has your dependencies in the chart.yaml file, and it's listed as an API version v1, and now you take that chart and you try to install it with Helm v3.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
You're gonna fail. Yeah, no. Yeah, I know that Helm v3 will handle it, but if Helm v2 doesn't, that means things are broken, right?
Yeah, so the reason I didn't bump it a major bump is because I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be a minor bump. But I'm fine with just making the call because there's plan changes that are looking like it will probably be major breaking changes. So I mean, I'm fine with doing it now.
Yeah, and I think we should, because if we can't run the chart in both Helm v2 and Helm v3, then we've broken the spec in a non-backwards compatible way. And so that's a major bump. And we may be able to run the older ones in Helm v3, but backwards compatible should mean that they could take that chart to Helm v2 as well. And if they can't do that, then we've broken compatibility. And so we need to be able to signify that, because then we can also go into Helm v2 and actually give an error saying, hey, we don't support this version chart, right? You need to use a newer version of Helm, a newer major version of Helm in order to support that version of the chart. We can do things like that just to keep the experience intact.
And we do have one standard in the community charts repo for when breaking changes happen with charts. We all finally agreed on that, and that's just to add there's an upgrade section to the README, and we just specify what's important or valuable per version. I don't think there's really an easy way that we could semantically make that version tie to the version of Helm, because some of them are like totally different, but at least we can specify that.
Okay, so conclusion is we'll bump the chart API version.
Bump it.
Sweet. Okay. Next discussion item is someone is working on a Helm v3 controller. I'm assuming, was that you, Farina, who put that in?
That was also me. How did you
I have comments on
put
this
my
too.
name next to it?
Yeah. No, so there's that one. I also have been talking to, I've been getting some feedback from, oh gosh, forgetting his name. Looking from Andrew Rudoy, who I think is over at New Relic. And I think that he's been trying using Helm 3 as a library, and I think a controller type of situation as well. So we've been getting some feedback from him on stuff to improve and rough edges to shave off and whatnot. So I've seen that with a couple of people so far, that people are starting to work on some controllers with V3 stuff.
Yeah, and I found that Flux, Weaveworks Flux, has broken off into its own project. And if you look at the orgs, there's a Helm operator get started project. So we're starting to see some of these things.
Yeah, we're trying to make, like, there's still a few changes we have to make around that. I know that some of the feedback I've gotten from one of it I implemented was the history thing actually returns releases now instead of formatted strings. There's also a problem with like people trying to use the kube client that we define inside of a Helm that wraps some Kubernetes stuff, like our update methods and whatnot. You have to do like you have to generate like a generic CLI options REST config, which is not the most convenient for users. And so I was trying to look at refactoring that to take like just a Kubernetes.interface or Kubernetes client set or something along those lines, to make it easier for people to spin that up when they're using it as a library.
Okay. Yeah, they actually said that makes sense, using it as a library and having that. For this, they may come and demo it. I don't know how many controllers are going to end up being out there to do Helm stuff, but it may be a time to get some kind of concerted effort going around something. I don't know, maybe we wait till Helm 3 is out. But there are numerous controllers now, and there's a little bit of controller sprawl on the space. So that means it's a problem people have and they want to solve.
Yeah, I think that's something we can look at. And I mean, and then related notes, like if there's anything, if people are writing these controllers or using Helm v3 as a library right now, like please let us know if you run into rough edges, because we're still in alpha, which means we can break and or move APIs around, which is what we've been doing. So let us know if something is a rough edge. If you're in the meeting now, or if you come to this later, please let us know so we can figure that out. And then as for the controller stuff, Farina, is there something we want to like, is there a follow-up we want to do to like maybe figure out what we want to do with it? Or do you just kind of want to leave it as an open, like, let us know if you want to discuss with us?
I'd just leave it open. If you want to discuss it with us, do it. Discuss it with us. I don't know that anybody here has time to do more than that right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. Okay, so yeah, there you go. If you have something with a controller and like to discuss some, like, if there's ways we can maybe make it a little bit simpler and to reduce the sprawl or whatever, just let us know. Okay, next item is our changes to the test architecture documented somewhere. I think it was from Henry.
Yeah, I apologize. I couldn't make the last couple of meetings, but yeah, I know Michelle is working on this, isn't she? And I just heard that there may be a change into the annotations, and we've got like hundreds of charts. So I just wanted to make sure I understood what the changes were, so we could advise our teams internally. I just wondered if it was documented somewhere. I couldn't see a proposal or anything in the V3 directory about what the changes were going to be. So
Yeah, I can hunt that down for you.
Right.
I think
It's in last week's notes, Adam. I'm looking it up.
In which case, apologize, I didn't make it last time.
The pull request to community, I think, has some of it.
Hmm.
Is that where?
Yeah, I found it. I'm getting it right now.
Okay.
No, I just dumped it in. Is that the right one? This is not the same
90.
one.
Yep, that's the one.
90.
Okay. So it's just in the pull request itself, is it? So?
This is it. Oh, this is a new pull request because there had been a previous one also with a bunch of discussion on it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I get
This
it.
is like V2 of the proposal.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I'll have to make comments on it. Okay. Yeah. And for folks who have been using it, and using tests, and there are a lot of people who have been using tests. I'm not sure how that's going to come forward as far as backwards compatibility and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's what I want to look at and kind of have a view on. So, okay, cool. I'll look at that. Thanks.
Yeah, and now's the time to go in there and comment on it. It's still in proposal phase, so that feedback would be really good.
Yep, excellent. Thanks.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to there's one more item I think that was added in. I think that's from Scott about updates for planning on a Lua engine. Is that correct, Scott?
Yeah, it's just a quick question, really. Not to rush anyone, of course. Just curious.
I know we've pushed it out past v3.0. I don't know which milestone we're planning it for after. I think we just really want to get 3.0 out the door. Adam, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, it's pretty accurate. Most of us are just putting that feature on hold, just so we can focus on the stability for the other main features. So once we get it V3 out, then we can start looking at that again.
Awesome. And when we do get to that, I'd be interested in connecting, pitching in, seeing where we can pitch in if possible.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think, and this came up before, when some of y'all went to KubeCon, Cloud Native Con EU, there was a big push to get Helm out, and folks were kind of clamoring for many of the things we had that weren't Lua or weren't more complicated. And so we're trying to get this Helm v3 out quicker, basically tillerless, plus some other things. So we're trying to get everything out much more quickly, and Lua would slow that down. And it's the kind of thing that we could layer in later in a feature release while getting 3.0 out more quickly.
Yeah, because basically, I mean, the TLDR of what the initial Helm 3 release is trying to do is better library, all those breaking changes we wanted to make for a while, and tillerless. That's kind of like the super simple, over simple, I should say, goal of what the Helm 3.0.0 release is trying to contain in it.
Yeah, essentially we're just changing a tag name is really all it is. Like the release cycle should be the same. It'll still be the same feature set. Instead of Alpha 2, it'll just be the V3 release. And then include the other stuff as a patch because it is a feature. So it'll actually be a much cleaner release doing it that way.
Okay. Any other discussion items before we finish up and go to assignments? Okay, then let's go ahead and move on to assignments. We have notes and moderator for next week. Would anyone like to volunteer for one of those?
I can do moderator.
I'll do notes.
Okay, so Martin is the moderator, Adam is notes. Okay. Looks like that should be good then. So we finished early, which is a milestone. So good job, everybody. We'll go ahead and close this one up for today, and we'll see everyone next week, same time, same place on the interwebs, and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Taylor.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.